Welcome to Give Yourself a Raise, how to find more cash for your company and for yourself. I'm David Worrell, your DIY CFO, and today we're going to talk all about cash flow management and how you can put more cash into your company's bank account, cash that you can spend on anything you need, including a raise for you. Because let's face it, everybody needs a raise. All right, hey, is this webinar for you? Really, do you need to be here? Well, I think if you're a business owner, if you have customers, if you manage the money, and if you pay bills, that you're going to get something out of this today. How many times have you said, I have too much month at the end of my money, right? The money runs out and you still got bills to pay this month. If that's ever happened to you, then you're in the right place. And I want to share with you some lessons that I've learned over the years. In fact, we're going to talk about strategies that all business owners should know about how to put more cash in the bank. We'll go over steps in the onboarding process when you bring a new customer on, the things that you need to do to guarantee quick payment from that customer. We'll talk about ways to get better terms from your vendors. And we'll talk about, really importantly, what's called the cash cycle. And that is the 5 places in your business that are silently using cash, right? Your company requires cash to operate, and it's in your company now. And I'm going to show you some tricks on how to get it out of the company, back into the bank, so you can take it home. So why do we want to do this? Who cares? The business is running okay? Well, is it? When you have more cash in the bank means happy vendors, happy customers, less time that you're spending juggling those payments at the end of the month to make every cash payment at the end of the month when you don't have quite enough cash, and overall less stress on you. I mean, hey, what fun is it to be a business owner if every day is stressful and you come home and you lose sleep over something as stupid as making payroll or rent at the end of the month? So, uh, you know, when you don't have enough cash, you just got to keep juggling. You work harder, you pay yourself less, right? You always say, well, I just won't pay myself this month so that I can pay rent, but I'll make it up to myself later. Yeah. How often does that actually happen? When you don't have cash, good employees leave, and good vendors are even too busy to help you out, right? They know that you're not going to be able to pay them on a timely basis, and so they're not going to make themselves available when you need them the most. You might be wondering how I know this so well. Well, I've been there, man. I've been there myself. I had debt. I had bad debt, right? I had issued invoices to my customers that went unpaid of $150,000 one year. $150,000. I barely had $1 million revenue business, and that means 10-15% of my revenue went completely unpaid. In addition, I had more slow pays eating up another $200,000 in AR. That's accounts receivable, right? So I had issued invoices that had not been paid. They might, I hope they were going to be paid, but they had not been paid, of $200,000. Now we're up to 35% of revenue. You add in just my bad billing methods, that I was slow in sending invoices, and some other tricks that I'll show you, and you could easily add up another $100,000. So almost half of my annual salary, my annual revenue for the whole business was now inaccessible to me as a business owner. I had $1 million business, but $500,000 of it was stuck inside my company or had been punted away because I took on bad customers. So, the lack of cash was killing my business. I couldn't hire great employees. I was worried about making rent and payroll. Even one of my partners quit and got a job, right? We had started this business together, and he finally just decided enough was enough. He couldn't live without taking a paycheck home every month, so he went and got a real job. Besides all of that, I had lawsuits, collection calls, stress, right? Lawsuits both ways. Me defending myself against customers who were pissed off, and me pursuing customers who were not paying, and pursuing lawsuits against people who owed me money. What a waste of time. Well, finally, my profits were negative because I was losing money like mad. My take-home pay was zero because I was paying everybody else and not myself. I finally decided to do something about it. So Geez, I mean, I'm a CFO. I ought to have known better, right? Well, I learned better, that's for sure. Uh, Today, my company is entirely different. I have $150,000 cash in the bank at any time. I collect 100% of my invoices in 10 days or less. I'm now got the money to invest in future growth, to pay myself a real salary, and I'm having fun again. And that's what it's all about. You got to have fun. So, why am I doing this? Why did I put all this together and why am I sharing this with you? Well, I believe in entrepreneurs. I mean, look, we are the economic engine of this country, but it's a fact that entrepreneurs will make 35% less than their neighbor who has a job. If you're going to work and you're getting that steady paycheck from a company, you will make 35% more than most entrepreneurs who own their own job, own their own business, and that's because we always have such a hard time paying ourselves. That's because we don't have enough cash, right? Sometimes we even make less than the people that we're employing. In fact, often we make less than the people we're employing. Well, business owners need to know how to make more. And I figure if my accounting business was having trouble with this cash flow problem, then it must be a pretty big problem. So if you've got a cash flow problem, I think you already know who you are. But I'm here to tell you, you can have a cash rich company when you know the basics, right? When you know why you're missing the cash in the first place, where the cash is hidden so you can go get it back, and how to squeeze every part of your cash cycle. Now, I know cash cycle might be a new word for you guys. That's all right. Cash cycle is inside every business has a cash cycle that shows where the money is at any given time. So we'll get into that in a second. But when you maximize the cash that's available to take home, everything will change. And I'm going to give you actionable advice, not some vague truism, but things that you can do to maximize the cash that you take home. So let's get started, man. How about lesson number one? Why don't you have the cash in the first place? Well, geez, there's six big reasons that I know of that you can run out of cash. Number one is you're growing too fast. Did you know that a growing business is more likely to go bankrupt because of cash flow problems than a failing business? It's true. You can fail your way out of business, but you can do it very gracefully. You can shut a company down when it's failing. But when it's growing, you've got to feed that monster with cash to open new locations, to build new products, to increase your inventory, to hire more people. And that all takes cash. And that's the scariest time of any business. And so many companies go broke doing that. Even big chains, right? Can't remember the name of the last chain that had built. It was even Starbucks was even having problems for a while. But anyway, these big chains, they go out and they say, "Yeah, man, we're gonna put a restaurant on every corner in America," and they build hundreds or thousands of restaurants, and then God, they run out of money. They can't pay the debt that they just took on, and they have to start shutting some of those same places back down. So growth is a huge one. Decline, obviously. If your business is just failing, eventually you're going to run out of cash. It's not that big of an issue for some companies when they decline, however, not a big of a cash issue for some companies when they decline, because as you're declining, your expenses are going down, but your cash coming in the door from prior sales sometimes continues to fund you for a while. So decline is actually not as dangerous from a cash point of view as growth. But maybe your problem is pricing. If you don't understand your break even point, or if your break even point is beyond your grasp, it could be that your pricing is simply too low, and that impacts cash from the get-go, right? How much you sell your product for or your service for determines how much gross margin you're going to make, determines how much cash you have left over to pay bills. And it's amazing to me how few companies really drill down on what it costs them to produce a product or a service. And you have to know what it costs you to produce a service before you can price it correctly. Let me give you a quick example. I consulted for an oil change guy, a mobile oil change guy. Small business, nice guy, had a beautiful van. In the back of his van was a airlift, a pneumatic lift. He'd drive to your house and he'd slide his pneumatic lift underneath of your BMW. I say that because he was in he was in Pebble Beach, and so everybody that was calling him to have their oil changed in their driveway owned a BMW or a Jaguar. So he'd slide the pneumatic lift under your Jaguar, and he'd put your car in the air, and he'd change your oil and 10 other things. I mean, he could even do a major overhaul right there in your driveway. And he thought he was making money because the oil cost him 30 bucks and he was selling it for 50 bucks. And so, gosh, there's a nice $20 margin there, right? Well, he forgot to add in the fact that he was driving to all these places in this van that was getting 12 miles to the gallon. And so, and at the time, gasoline was $4 a gallon in Pebble Beach, California. And so he was spending 5 or 10 bucks every day. Shoot, he was spending 30 bucks every day on gasoline, and not to mention the time that it took him to go from job to job. When he sat back and realized this and started adding up what it was really costing him to drive to your house to change your oil, he realized he would have to double his prices. Okay, that's a long story about price, but you can see how important it is to understand your costs when you're setting your price. Some people don't. Hey, maybe you've got the wrong customers. Those people that just refused to pay me the $150,000 that I lost a few years ago, man, they just weren't the right customers. I should have known that from the beginning. And so we've got some tricks to share with you about onboarding customers so you know you've got the right ones and you've got the advantage over the customer when it comes to billing. But for most people, including where I was, if you're sending an invoice to a customer at the end of the month, you don't have any advantage over him, do you? You've done the work, you provided the value, and now you're just hoping and praying that he pays his bill. Credit. Hey, credit can go both ways. Maybe you're extending too much credit to your customers, as in that last example, or maybe you're not getting enough credit from your vendors. So boosting your own ability to borrow can often solve your cash flow problems and put more cash in the bank. If you had a line of credit that you could dip into when you needed it, when your cash flow was up or down, when maybe you had to buy a little more inventory this month, so you dipped into your line of credit, that can smooth out the amount of cash in the bank so that you never miss a paycheck. And finally, volume. When you know your break even, so we talked a little bit about pricing, but when you know your break even, you'll know how much sales volume you need to get to that break even point and post a profit each month. And then you can control the actions that you take in your business in terms of how do I go about marketing and selling so that I'm attracting enough people every month to hit and exceed my break even. And that one little calculation, break even analysis, it's a weird little formula, but it's not that hard, right? It's overhead expenses divided by gross margin percentage. So give you my formula. I have $40,000 in overhead expense and I have 50% gross margins. I've got to sell $80,000 every month before I can hit break even, right? 40,000 divided by 50% gross margin equals top line sales target for break even. Okay. Very good. So why don't you have the cash you need? It's going to be in one of these 6 boxes. And when you know which box you're in, then you can start to take action to fix those things. Lesson number 2. Find the cash by unlocking what's already in your business. So let's talk about the cash cycle a second. $1 goes into your company, and the first thing you do with it is you buy some inventory, you buy some payroll, right? Some help. You buy something that you're going to resell. If you have a lemonade stand, you're going to take that first $1 and you're going to go buy lemons and sugar and ice and water. So now you own a bunch of lemons and sugar and ice and water, and you start making your lemonade, but it sits there a while. That's called inventory. So your cash sits in your inventory. And then you sell it, right? Somebody orders a gallon of lemonade from you, and you've got an order, and you send the inventory out, but you aren't paid yet. Now you've done the work. Now you got to write an invoice to that person, and then you've still got to wait for that person to pay the invoice to get the cash back into your business. So it's a cycle like this of the money leaving your company, getting invested into inventory or people or supplies, getting sold and billed to a customer, and finally getting paid where the cash comes back, and now you can reinvest it in products and start all over again. Well, what if you could change your business model so that that dollar didn't have to go all the way around that circle? What if you could actually turn it backwards and your business would generate more cash than it used? There are business models that do this. Let's talk about the airlines. This is an easy one. You know, a lot of quarters, airlines are not profitable. Airlines are famous for losing so much money that it's mind-boggling. And the only reason that airlines survive through those times is because you and I buy our tickets so far in advance. The airlines actually have a negative cash cycle. They use someone else's money. They use their customers' money way before the customer gets the product. So I buy a ticket to go on spring break. I might buy that today. They're going to have my money for 3 or 4 or 5 months. And they can use that for jet fuel and for repairs and for buying airplanes and for paying salaries, whatever they need to do for 5 months until they have to then buy a little bit of extra jet fuel to take me to Florida, right? And by the way, I'm not flying anywhere this year. Okay. So that's a great business model. Get paid in advance. There's one even more stunning, and that is Dell computers. You know, whether you love a Dell computer or you don't, Michael Dell reinvented manufacturing when he started selling his computers because he would do, like the airlines, he would take payment in advance. I order a Dell computer online using my credit card, pay for it today. He then places the order for the parts to make my computer. And if you look at the Dell factory, it's really quite amazing. He forces his vendors to bring the parts to the factory in these giant mollies or racks. And he says, I don't own those parts yet. You can't bill them to me. They're at my factory, but you, Mr. Vendor, you still own those parts. And you're going to own those parts until I actually reach into the molly and put them into a computer. And it's not until that instant that I've used the part that I'm going to buy it from you. And then you're going to wait 60 days for me to pay you. So he's got my money 3 or 4 days in advance. He's got the vendor's money for 60 days. He turns the whole cash cycle backwards. It's really quite awesome. And obviously, he never has a problem taking a salary for himself out of that business. Lesson number 3. Squeeze your cash cycle gently. So where are all of those pressure points in that cash cycle that we just discussed where you can do better every day? Do a little bit better every day by onboarding customers that you can count on to pay their bills. So not only does that mean selecting the right kinds of customers that you're going to want to work with and who are going to want to pay you, but it means doing a credit check on them. Even the nicest customer in the world might have terrible credit. So before you start work on a customer, before you accept the job, maybe even before you bid the job, run a credit report on them. Find out how other vendors have experience with them and whether they are able to get paid or not. Request a credit file or a credit application from each new customer. Set up your contracts with your customers, your proposals, and your terms and conditions to mandate payment in advance or payment on specific terms. For example, in the accounting industry, I don't often get paid in advance, but I can get paid by credit card or ACH, and I can keep those digits on file so that if you're my customer and I deliver a spreadsheet to you or a set of books to you, 3 days later, I can hit your credit card or your bank account and withdraw that money and not need to wait for you to hum and haw and write a check and send it in the mail and get lost and rewrite the check and tell me that you sent it even though you didn't, and every other excuse, right? So Onboarding cash-rich customers is just so important. You know that they've got the money in the bank, and then you find a way to take it out of the bank without their intervention. Credit card, e-check, ACH, click to pay, whatever it is, there's PayPal. There's a million ways to get paid today. And if you're not using some of the best electronic payment methods, then you're missing an opportunity to have more cash in your bank when you need it. Okay. The cash cycle also includes your vendors, as we've talked about. Get the vendors to finance your whole company. Michael Dell was a genius at that. We talked about that. But you can do the same thing. You can by having a credit application of your own, a credit file ready when you take on a new vendor. From day number one, you request 45, 60, 75-day terms. And when they laugh and they say, why would I do that? You say, look, I have great credit. Here's my credit file. Here's my EIN number. Here's my top 5 vendors. Here's my Dun & Bradstreet number. Here's what I can give you in exchange for 75-day terms. The volume of sales that you're going to place with them, the projected ramp of the sales or purchases that you're going to make from them. Build a relationship and talk about how you're going to increase both companies' business over the long term and what you're going to do with that money to invest it in more sales and marketing and production during that 60 or 75 days that you're asking for terms. Hey, you'd be surprised. People are hungry for business, and maybe their business is strong enough, robust enough to allow you 60 or 75-day terms. You don't know if you don't ask. So that's some ideas of how to gently squeeze your cash cycle with customers, with vendors. But finally, it's also really worth asking yourself: do I need outside sources of money? Do I need an infusion of capital or an extra loan? Do I need equity partners? Do I just need deeper pockets to make this business work? And there are so many sources of outside money that are available to even small businesses, from angel investors to borrowing against your 401k to actually using your 401k. There's life insurance tools that you might already own that you can withdraw or borrow against. The CARES Act this year, 2020, the CARES Act that introduced the Paycheck Protection Program. The CARES Act allows you to borrow up to $100,000 from your retirement savings. So a huge source of outside money, and there are so many of them. And in the class that we're talking about here, I'm going to give you an entire book called Colors of Money with hundreds of ideas of sources for outside capital. So perhaps that's one of the places that you need to look. And I hope that you got my little visual joke here. I'm probably showing my age, but Mr. Whipple gently squeezing the Charmin in the back of the grocery store. So I hope that you will find a way to gently squeeze your cash cycle to get more cash out of it. All right. What would it mean to your business if you used some of these tactics and you were able to find some extra dollars? Could you grow your business faster? Could you hire better people, or maybe just more people? Would you personally work a little less? Right? How many hours are you spending chasing the dollars, chasing the customers, worried about non-payment, tracking down deadbeats? Hey, maybe you can just carve those 5 hours a week right out of your schedule and do something more productive, or do nothing at all. Go home and enjoy your life. So maybe you work less. Maybe you take home more of the cash for yourself. My wife certainly never minds when I bring home an extra $1,000 each month. That goes a long way in my household to relieve stress and have fun and hire a cleaning lady to take a break from doing house chores, or go on a weekend vacation to a nice resort in the state somewhere. So now you got all this extra cash in the bank. What are you going to do with it? Maybe you just build wealth. Maybe you just let it sit there and accumulate interest and grow and help you grow your business, because really your business is your source of wealth. So imagine what that extra $20,000, $30,000 could mean to your company. Let's make 2021 the best cash year yet. Will you commit with me that together, you and I, through the class that we're going to talk about here, will commit to making 2021 the best cash year ever? That means increasing your bank account by 20, 30, $100,000, whatever it is. I don't think that I would have a goal of 20% of your revenue. If you can put an extra 20% of your revenue into the bank, how much of a difference would that make? For me, that would be $200,000 of extra cash. And you know what? That's about what I did over the last few years. We were scraping by, and now I've got $150,000 cash at all times, and sometimes a lot more. So imagine what it would be like. Commit yourself to making 2021 the best it can be. It is possible. When the cash is gone, the lights go out, but you're going to learn how to control the cash and how to control the cash cycle. And when you do that, you'll set the money free to be used more productively and more rewardingly for you. So let's talk about why we're here. I built this cash course for you, a cash crash course. Over the next 4 weeks, I want to teach you to be the master of your cash. I'm going to teach you the moves that will put more cash in your pocket, that will find that 20, maybe it's 30% of your annual revenue that can go right into the bank to fuel your growth and your personal satisfaction. This is a 4-week masterclass. Each week, we unlock a whole new lesson online. There's videos and quizzes and worksheets after each chapter. You get to watch the videos, think deeply about it, how it impacts your own company, answer some quiz questions to make sure that you've got the comprehension right. And then we will join together in a class each week, in a workshop online. We'll share a Zoom room and we'll discuss these concepts. I'll give you some advanced topics. We'll dig a little deeper into how to apply these topics to your business. And we'll take Q&A. Gosh, all the questions you care to ask. And you know what? I have a reputation for being able to answer a lot of questions on a webinar. So I have sat here talking about the PPP with some of you guys for hours. And the questions keep coming, and I just sit here and I keep answering them because that's what I love to do. But we'll have a weekly workshop, and you'll get to ask me any questions you want about any cash flow topic. We'll focus on the lessons from that week. We'll do a little deep dive. We'll do the Q&A. We'll go over the Excel tools and the templates that you got inside the class. And then, of course, you'll have lifetime access to our private Facebook group, to the tools and resources that are available in the cash class, and you'll become one of our favorite people, and you can email me anytime with your concerns. So, hey, you might be thinking that this is not for you right now, and maybe it's not. If you're already rolling in cash, if you are not ready to work smarter, you want to just keep working harder, or if you want a hobby and not a real business, then maybe cash flow just doesn't matter. Maybe this is not the right thing. But I believe that you deserve to be well paid. Entrepreneurs drive the economic growth. We make jobs for other people. Why aren't we getting paid ourselves? We make great products. We should also make great money. We should be taking home at least as much as our neighbors who have JOBs, right? And I think we ought to be taking home more than the neighbor who's got a JOB, more than the employees that we're paying every month, maybe more than you even think that you're worth. But to do that, it starts with cash. You know, I read you that statistic that where 35% of entrepreneurs make less than their neighbors who have a JOB. I don't want to be a part of that statistic. I don't want to be the guy dragging that down. I want to be the solution. And that's why I've created this course, to help you unlock and improve every aspect of your business. But it all starts with cash. Once you unlock the cash, everything else falls into place. The discipline that it takes to have more cash in the bank will impact every aspect of your business. We've already talked about onboarding customers and the discipline around having a contract, having a credit review, asking them for a credit file, calling other vendors who've had relationships with them. And you know what? That kind of discipline will permeate your organization. And by doing those disciplined things, you'll eliminate so many other problems. Now you don't have customers who don't pay you. If you put it into your contract that you're going to ACH or credit card them every month, now you don't have customers that you have to call and remind to pay their bills, even if they do. If you have great customers and they're all happy and you're not spending time, wasting time and all these other things, you're taking care of them, now you're not facing lawsuits for poor performance, right? It's amazing what having cash in the bank will allow you to focus on and how it will help your business grow. And let's face it, it's just going to be a hell of a lot more fun because it's so much more fun to go to work when you know you're going to come home with a check. Hey, for me right now, I bring home over $100,000 every year, even when my company posts a loss. And that's just a cash discipline. You can do that too. You can have a company that's going to have great months and maybe some not so great months. But at the bottom line, you're going to make the company more effective and efficient, and you are going to be able to take home a salary every month. Maybe even a much better salary than what you're taking home now. So give yourself a raise by unlocking the cash and improving the discipline around every aspect of your business. I want to help you get there. The course that we've got is personalized help and rapid improvement. You're going to turn the corner in less than 4 weeks. You're going to make a fresh start in 2021, right? We're going to teach you during December tools and tricks that are going to change your entire year of 2021. It's going to make over your entire business. You're always going to know, where's my money? Even if there's pockets of it stuck in your cash cycle, even if you've got too much inventory or you still have a little bit of AR, now you'll know where the money is. And as the money comes out, you'll get to grow faster, if that's your thing. Maybe you don't want to grow faster. Maybe you just want to take home a little more. That's okay too. But in the end, you're going to sleep better no matter which your choice is. If you could put an extra $100,000 in your bank, wouldn't it be worth doing? Don't you want to know how to get that extra $100,000 cash in your bank without quitting your job, without shutting down and doing something completely different, without breaking any laws? How do you do that? Well, first of all, don't drive to your local community college and spend $2,000 for a 12-week course taught by some guy who's probably never owned a company, right? I love the community colleges that hire a CPA who's been at work in a CPA firm his whole life, and he's there to teach business owners how to manage their cash. I don't know. Maybe I'm insulting a couple of CPAs on this call. I hope not. I'm sorry about that, but I don't think that a CPA from a big firm has the experience to tell you how to run your business. And anyway, $2,000 for a community college class on this sort of topic? Jeez. You could hire a consultant for $200 an hour. Heck, you could hire me for $200 an hour. But I don't think that that's the efficient way to get this information either. That's not going to help you put an extra $100,000 in the bank the way this course will. So this course, you get 10 hours of my time, right? Not just the videos of and the workbooks and everything that I've put into the courses by themselves, but hours and hours together on our workshops and webinars every week, and access to us on Facebook. I answer personally every question that's posed on Facebook or inside the course. 10 hours of my time, $199. You know what? I think so much of this class and the lessons that you still have yet to learn that I will unconditionally guarantee it. If you don't get 10 times the value out of your investment, I'll refund your money at any time. Keep the course, keep the Excel sheets, keep the bonuses I'm going to tell you about in a minute. Just tell me you aren't feeling it and I'll send your money back. 10x the value. If you paid $199, 10x the value would mean I have to show you how to put $2,000 into your bank account. Man, you'll learn that on the first day. You'll learn that in the first 20 minutes, how to put $2,000 extra into your bank account. I unconditionally guarantee. I guarantee it, as George says. But you know what? I got some bonuses for you. You knew this was coming, didn't you? If you sign up, you will also receive my first book called The Colors of Money. I mentioned that before. There are dozens of sources of money for you just waiting for you to pick them and invest that money into your business so that you can grow. And the book Colors of Money is going to detail every one of these. And it's nice. Here, look, I got it right here. It's only this big. It's only 30 pages. It's even got kind of big print. It's not a huge read, but it's very interesting and very detailed and very specific so that you can go out and find the money you need to invest and grow your business. And of course, anyone who joins our class is going to become a gold member, and you will be invited to our Finance Friday webinars. So, gosh, we have a great time on our Finance Friday webinars, actually. A couple 300 people are joining us and talking about all kinds of finance topics. We talk about the PPP and the EIDL loans, all of these stimulus programs from the government. We talk about cash flow. We talk about credit. We talk about balance sheet ratios and how to build a P&L and who to turn to for cash, how to get a bank loan, all those sorts of things. Any question that you want to bring about any finance topic is welcome at Finance Friday, and you are welcome at every Finance Friday for the rest of your life, or the rest of my life anyway. And all you got to do is purchase the class from us for $199. But wait, if you do it today, I'm even willing to cut that price. Save another $100 today by using the code CASH2021. And here's a little link. You can go right there. We'll paste this into the chat window if you're on a live webinar, but if you're not, bit.ly/cashclass2021. Really simple link, bit.ly. That's a bit.ly link if you've seen those before. Perfectly safe. Your browser might tell you that it looks a little funny. It's absolutely fine, I guarantee it. bit.ly/cashclass2021, and that will get you right to the purchase page, and it'll fill in the discount code for you so you don't even have to write that down. bit.ly/cashclass2021. Hey, you deserve to be paid better. That's what this is all about, right? You will go from zero to hero in 4 weeks. Our classes are going to be December 1st, 8th, 15th, and 22nd. Before Christmas, you'll have a present to yourself of better cash in the bank and a raise to take home for Christmas. How about that? A little Christmas present for you and the family to take home a little extra money this month. Never struggle at the end of the month again. Always pay yourself well, not just this month, but every month pay yourself well. And finally, stop worrying about making other people's payroll. Stop worrying about making rent. Stop worrying about having cash in the bank. We're going to give you absolutely guaranteed strategies to make these 4 things happen. And you can become a master of this in just 4 weeks. So sign up now at bit.ly/cashclass2021. It's in the chat box. And make the leap with me. Hey, I'm here to catch you. You don't have to be an accountant. You don't have to be a PhD or a rocket scientist to understand this stuff. You have to be a business owner who wants to improve their business. And you have to trust and rely on me to give you the kind of actionable information you need. Again, you're going to get guided mastery in just 4 weeks. 1 class a week, live webinars and workshops, our members-only events, plus all the bonuses, Excel templates, Colors of Money book, that's this thing, and more for $99 when you use the discount code. But hey, let's face it, I can only do this for so many people, right? Space is limited. I want to give you guys a good personal experience. I'm not going to let hundreds of people into this class. I really want to make this something special and something personalized that we can talk about the facts at your business and how to change your company's processes and procedures to unlock that cash. So invest 4 weeks with me. Become a lean, mean cash machine. Grab the discount code, and I'll see you on Tuesday, December 1st. That's pretty close. That's just after Thanksgiving. So grab your discount code and join me. Don't even need the discount code. if you use this link, bit.ly CashClass 2021. Join today, and I will see you December 1st. Thanks.